Have you ever wondered about the rivers mentioned in our ancient scriptures? The Rig Veda, one of the oldest texts known to humanity, speaks of a mighty river, the Saraswati. It was described as a grand river, flowing from the Himalayas to the Arabian Sea, nourishing the land and the people who lived on its banks. The Veda describes it as Nadatama, the best of rivers. But if you look at a map of India today, you won't find this mighty river. Where did it go? Did it ever exist? Or was it just a mythological creation of our ancestors? This is the story of the disappearance of the Saraswati, a dark and fascinating truth hidden for millennia. The scriptures are filled with praises for the Saraswati. The Rig Veda contains numerous hymns dedicated to her, describing her as a life-giving mother, pure and majestic. She was not just a river of water. She was the river of inspiration, of knowledge, and of civilization itself. The earliest settlements of the Indus Valley Civilization, it's also known as the Harappan Civilization, flourished along its banks. Archaeological evidence shows that a riverbed that is now mostly dry was once a massive river system matching the descriptions of the Saraswati. This region, spanning from modern-day Haryana to Gujarat, was once a fertile green paradise. Imagine a time when this river flowed with immense power. It was wider than the Brahmaputra, a source of life for countless towns and cities. The people revered it, and their culture, art, and knowledge blossomed on its shores. Then something changed. The hymns in the later parts of the Vedas start to tell a different story. They speak of the Saraswati weakening, its flow diminishing. The Mahabharata, composed much later, describes the place where the Saraswati disappeared into the desert. It speaks of Balarama's pilgrimage along the drying banks of the once mighty river. What could cause such a colossal river, the very backbone of a civilization, to simply vanish? The answer lies buried deep within the earth, in the geological history of our subcontinent. For decades, the existence of the Saraswati was debated. Many believed it to be a myth, a poetic imagination. But modern science has begun to uncover the truth, and it's more astonishing than any myth. Scientists, using satellite imagery and remote sensing technology, have traced the paleocanal of a massive ancient river. This lost river's path perfectly aligns with the descriptions of the Saraswati in the Vedic texts. The images from space show a vast network of underground channels, marking the course of a river that was once up to 8 kilometers wide in some places. This was no small stream. It was a behemoth. So, the river was real. But what happened to it? Scientific research points to a series of catastrophic geological events. The Indian subcontinent is a geologically active area. Tectonic plate movements, the same forces that created the mighty Himalayas, were the primary culprits. These powerful shifts in the Earth's crust dramatically altered the landscape and the river systems. Studies of sediment and rock layers in the region reveal evidence of major earthquakes and tectonic uplifts that occurred thousands of years ago. These events changed the courses of the rivers that fed the Saraswati. The Saraswati was primarily fed by two major river systems. One was the Sutlej, which originated in the Himalayas. The other was the Yamuna, also a Himalayan river. Geological evidence suggests that around 4,000 years ago, significant tectonic activity caused the Sutlej to change its course and turn westward, eventually joining the Indus River system. Around the same time, or perhaps a little later, another tectonic shift forced the Yamuna to alter its path. It turned eastward to join the Ganga, becoming the tributary we know today. Imagine a river losing its two primary sources of water. It was like cutting off the main arteries. Mighty Saraswati was starved of its lifeblood, the glacial meltwaters from the Himalayas. Without its perennial sources, the river began to shrink. The flow weakened and it became a seasonal river, dependent only on monsoon rains. The once glorious river, the Nadatama, was slowly dying. Its vast waters receded, leaving behind a dry, sandy bed. The fertile plains it once nourished began to turn into the arid landscape of the Thar Desert. This environmental catastrophe had a profound impact on the people who lived on its banks. The great cities of the Harappan civilization, which depended on the river for agriculture and trade, began to decline. Archaeological findings show that as the river dried up, people started migrating eastward towards the more fertile Gangetic plains. The center of Indian civilization shifted. The disappearance of the Saraswati was not a sudden event. It was a slow, agonizing process that unfolded over several centuries. The people witnessed their mother river, their goddess, slowly vanishing before their very eyes. This traumatic event was etched into their collective memory, preserved for thousands of years in their oral traditions and scriptures. The hymns that once praised its might now lamented its disappearance. It's a powerful reminder of how fragile our environment is and how powerful the forces of nature are. A civilization that was once at its peak was forced to relocate because its primary water source vanished. Today, the Saraswati is not entirely gone. It is believed to flow underground, its ancient channels still carrying water deep beneath the desert sands. In some places in Haryana and Rajasthan, groundwater sources are abundant along the Palea Canal of the Saraswati. This underground water is seen by many as the lingering presence of the sacred river. There are even efforts being made to revive parts of the river, to bring water back to its ancient channels. It's a testament to the enduring legacy of the Saraswati in the hearts and minds of the people. The story of the Saraswati is a perfect blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. What was once described in sacred texts has now been validated by satellite imagery, geological surveys, and archaeological evidence. It's a dark truth because it represents the death of a river and the displacement of a civilization. It's also a story of resilience, of how our ancestors adapted to a massive environmental change and carried their culture and knowledge forward. The river may have disappeared from the surface, but it continues to flow in our scriptures, in our history, and in the very memory of our land. Thank you for watching. For more such interesting insights from our scriptures and history, subscribe to our channel, Sanatum.